Hello, everybody. Thanks so much for joining us today for another in our series of webinars that we are hosting with Sam Queen this year. Sam is joining us from yet another exotic location. The last time we did this, he was calling in from Amsterdam. He's now in Colombia, helping out some descendants of Pablo Escobar with their clothes, no doubt.
Yeah.
That's all I know about Medellin, sorry. But Sam, welcome. Before we get started today, I just have a few housekeeping notes and other things to go over. So happy to have you all here. Before we get started, the format of today's session will be that Sam is going to run through the topic. He's prepared some notes and some tips and tricks that he wants to share specifically on the topic today. Following that demonstration, we'll do a Q&A. Sam is becoming a Close celebrity. He is the founder and CEO of Close Doctor. His company builds and scales Close.com accounts for 7- and 8-figure brands. Sam leads businesses with high-ticket offers using his expertise that eliminates manual processes and increases managerial oversight in order for his clients to close more deals and close them faster. Since 2018, Close Doctor has partnered with 60-plus Close accounts with more than 200 remote sales reps and sales leaders. Sam's custom-built processes have generated 100 million plus in revenue for his clients. That's such a good number, Sam. I never get tired of sharing that with the group. Welcome back. We are so happy to have you. And this is a very meaty topic, so love to talk about it.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Yes, another location last month, Amsterdam. This month, Medellin, Colombia. If anyone is here right now, let me know. I just hopped on a call earlier today with someone that booked a call from last webinar. He's like, I'm based in Amsterdam. I'm like, we're a little late. So if you guys want, we can do this in person. We can talk shop in person. But yeah, guys, today we're going to talk about communication and time management inside of Close accounts. So I've got nothing. Was that a ghost behind you that just opened your door?
I think it's my dog. Sorry for the interruption.
No crazy slide deck or presentation to walk you guys through. I just want to walk you through just the initial big tips and tricks that come to mind. That's the way that I like to help people most, is just by give you guys the good stuff. The big tips and tricks that come to mind when it comes to saving time and communicating inside of Close accounts. So first thing I want to talk about saving time is just having a clean Close account will save you a lot of time. And what I mean by that is taking the time before building your Close account to document your sales process, what it looks like. I'll put a link to my YouTube channel in here, guys. I'll reference a lot of videos that I filmed on these very specific topics for you. But documenting your sales process before you bring it inside of the CRM. That way you know exactly how things are going to be connected and worked and how you're going to filter and what you're going to automate along the way. And you're not trying to change wheels on your car as you're rolling downhill, right? We want to really be able to build a clean account, bring data in the right way. I'll share with you guys where the most common pitfall is and where people bring data in the wrong way and filter the wrong way is going to be just in their custom fields or their custom activity field types. Boom. So I'm going to be inside of custom fields. This applies to custom activities as well, just specific to the field type. But if you guys have a multiple choice question inside of a type form or an application page or a landing page or something on your website, make sure you bring in those fields as drop down single select field types. That way, when you go to filter by these specific fields later and you want to filter for, I don't have any, oh, there we go. Whatever single selects you want, you can just click on the specific choice you want instead of having to type out this entire answer choice. That goes for date as well. So a date field right here. If you want to be able to filter for dates that a lead's performed a certain activity and you want to be able to look at between this date and this date, you must use a date field to do that. If you use a text field, you just won't be able to accomplish it. Won't be able to accomplish that one at all. So that's going to be my number one way to save time, is to just really think about how your Close account is structured, how your sales process moves throughout Close, how your data is brought into Close. That way, when you're trying to filter for things or run motions in the future, you're not as concerned about how to do that. Cool. Number one, time management. Number two, time management for you guys is going to be building your process checks, building your SOPs inside of the CRM itself. So how I accomplish that, is there a limit to number of custom fields you may create? Kathleen, There probably is. Forrest is going to be like, yeah, it's like 10,000. And then you have to email close. Number 2 way to save time is to build your process checks into the CRM itself. And I accomplished that with my Smartviews. So once I have my sales motion, my sales process documented outside of the CRM, I know what it's going to look like inside of the CRM, inside of Close. I'm going to build Smartviews for every piece of that sales process, every place that I would like a process check to be seen, to make sure that these motions are being followed. And if you have attended one of these trainings before, you've heard me refer to Smartviews as buckets, and Smartviews will fill up when they meet certain requirements, but the Smartviews should all be empty. And there should always be one kicker inside of that Smartview that will empty a bucket. So I'll show you what I'm talking about there. Here we go. So I'm in just my demo account here. You'll see my manager level Smartviews are all process checks for different pieces of my sales motion. So this manager SS needs post call activity says that, hey, a strategy session took place because I have a custom activity that says the strategy session was booked. The date of that call is before today, and it's our process, our SOP, that when a strategy session happens, one of these custom activities indicating that it was completed or not completed must get filled out. So if one of these things is present and the other one is not present, that lead will show inside of this Smartview. And now I'm going to put myself to the test to see if that's a true statement, which it will be. So let me change this strategy session booked, and let me change the date of this call to previous. Let me delete this one. Cool. Ta-da. So this is saying that the date of the call has passed, but the other custom activity doesn't exist. So if I said that this person no-showed, I no-showed myself. They confirm their appointment. Why do I ask that question? Because I want to see what's the pattern between people that confirm their appointments and their show up rates. So custom activities for you guys are a great opportunity for you to collect other information from your sales team to get insights into your sales process. Fill that out. Now if I go back to this, it should be gone. Voila, that's how they work. So it met some of the requirements, and then the process check was saying that, hey, once this thing happens, that lead disappears. Flip that, throw that in the vault. That is a really good tip right there. I hope everyone starts to build Smartviews that way. Any other comments to that, Lauren?
Yeah, Sam, I think sometimes when I work with customers, they struggle to understand when something is like worthy of being put into a custom activity to then filter later into the Smartview. So I'm curious if you could give a little more insight into different processes that really belong in those custom activity fields and as custom activities tracked.
For sure. That's a great question. One thing I'm always putting in a custom activity, even though a custom activity will have a submission date, I always want that custom activity to get associated back to, in my case, like that call date. Because if someone misses a custom activity getting filled out today for a call that happened today and they fill it out 7 days from now for whatever reason, I want to be able to tie that back. So I always have a date field in all of my custom activities to log the date of that action actually taking place. If it's automated, obviously the automation is just putting in the same date for the same day. But if it's a manual custom activity like that example there, we would, put a date field in there as well to tie it back to the actual call itself, not the date of the activity being published. Other things you want to track, I think of what information, if I'm going to follow up with this lead 6 months from now, what information would I love to see there from my previous touch points? Those are the text fields that you want to have inside of there. I'm tracking, did they confirm the appointment as just a little drop down? Why? I want to see the trend between people that confirm appointments and the show up rates. I know on one of my businesses, if someone does not confirm the appointment, their chances of showing up to the call are 5%. They've got a 95% chance of not showing up if they don't confirm the appointment. I can only get those kind of insights if I build in a motion like this. Yeah, other than that, do you have a pressing question that you're looking to solve for the marketing department right now where you could really use some information from the sales team every single time? What information is that? Maybe it's a how did you hear about us? Drop down single select. And then you can filter by lead source and you're gathering that information from your first qualifying or triage call. So the real thing is just asking yourself, what information is important for us to collect now, or what information to solve one specific problem, or what information is important for us to collect now. That way, 6 months from now. If I have to come back to this lead, I know exactly where to leave off.
Cool. And I think this is a great actually segue into the first question I have in the question queue. Thank you for using the question queue. And that is there an easy way to auto disposition leads that have a bad number when my sales guys call them? And, I think your answer is actually going to be related to what you just said. Love to hear your thoughts there.
With like a custom activity, what you're thinking? Yeah. So Seth, I'm curious what your actual sales motion is for when they call leads. Maybe it sounds like this is probably like a cold list that you're uploading, but in a world where, if I'm looking to save time, yes, on the topic of saving time, my custom activities are driving all of my lead statuses. Is there a way to auto disposition it where Close recognizes this is a bad phone number? Can it update that lead status? No, but you can use custom activities as triggers to then move opportunity statuses, to move lead statuses. Now with workflows, which we'll talk about here, with workflows, if a lead status moves, that can be a trigger to a whole sequence firing off. So the short answer to your question is no, it can't be auto disposition just by like Close saying bad phone number. But if you have a custom activity that gets filled out, maybe that looks like, I'll show you this one here. So this is for triage calls not completed. And I have a status drop down. It says, why was the triage call not completed? And bad data, in this case, would be a bad number. So the person filling out this form would log bad data, and then that could update a lead status to DNC, and then you would never contact that lead again.
Thanks for walking us through that, Sam.
Yeah. You got it. Seth, I hope that helped. Should we talk about workflows right now? I think they're pretty exciting, pretty hot topic in the Close.com world.
I would love that. Have you had a chance to play around in them very much, Sam?
Yeah, so I'm loving like the fact that I don't have to use Python code to write initial text messages anymore. I'm loving that. Then those can stack on top of each other inside of sequences. I don't think my feedback is that the native triggers aren't where they are, but they're much better than where they were 6 months ago. And for that, I'm grateful. And that's all I care about, is that we're getting there. So I still use Zapier for a lot of the triggering of things, but depending on the lead status trigger for you guys watching will only be useful depending on how you use lead statuses and what lead status may automate a workflow happening. If you have a lead status called no-show, I do not have a lead status called no-show, but a lot of businesses do. If you guys have a lead status called no-show and you want to enroll someone into a sequence based on that status changing, you can do that now, which is like totally super cool, because it used to not be able to do anything like that. So let's look at workflows right now. I'll look inside of one of my accounts that's got maybe a little something in here, and we'll build one together and kind of walk through the process of building one.
Love it.
Let's do it. Cool. So I'm in workflows here, and let's just build a new workflow together, guys. So you used to see the word sequences over here. Now you see the word workflows over here, and that's because we have the addition, the native triggers. So if I'm going to build a workflow, I'm going to start off by naming it. A tip for you guys here: if your business account is very big and you have a ton of workflows, start using naming conventions. So maybe if I only wanted to build registration workflows, I would start everything with registration, and then maybe I'd put a date in here if it's specific to a certain date. But if I wanted to find all my workflows specific to registration, having standard naming conventions can help do that. Cool. Big mistake right in front of my face right now. I just made this mistake like a week ago with an account. This right here, guys, is set default. Your campaigns are all going to send default weekdays, 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. If you want them to send round the clock, you got to make this change. And making that change just happens just like this. I'll show you my other fatal mistake I made last week. So if you wanted to send any day, any time, you make that change and you hit done, but it's not over. You still got to hit save again.
Sam, can I pop in there and ask you a question? Because I'm curious. I feel like marketing best practices always say to send during a business hours window. So I'm curious what use case you feel like expanding that makes sense.
For me, it's my sales best practice is I want to talk to my lead as soon as possible.
Got it.
So that would be the difference there. So if I want that first, if someone books a call at 5 p.m., I want my SMS to go out when they book their call at 5 p.m., not at 9 a.m. the next day. Because my salespeople are always working. They're always working. This is specific to your guys' business, yes, marketing best practice would say exactly do that. That's why it is the default. I'm not saying that the default should be any day, anytime. I'm just saying that your boy made a little mistake last week, didn't make that change, and then I didn't hit save again. That was other fatal one. Make sure you guys hit save once more after making that change. Anyway, off of that topic, your trigger. So add an automated trigger. This is going to be the new feature to workflows, and we can add these automated features based on a status change, and then we can filter by custom field as well, can't we?
Yeah, right there at the kind of after the find leads where you're going to see those custom fields.
Cool. Yeah, so let's do current status as any of students. So maybe we want to have a sequence that enrolls people that have that just signed up for our program. They convert into a customer, and maybe we want to do like a check-in sequence. That's fair, right? But maybe we only want to check in with students that meet a requirement. For this specific campaign, we only want to check in with students that meet a specific requirement of, let's see what other cool filters I have in this account that I can use. Okay, we asked financial qualification question in this business. So I want check-in sequence for people that signed up as a student, but the ones that I identified that have, a little bit less money. So I want to be a little bit more nurturing with how I approach my check-in process and maybe be more conscious and aware of their financial situation. That is now my trigger. And then everything from here on out, with the addition of now you can add tasks to your workflows, which I think is great. And you can assign users. So a user in the middle of a workflow getting assigned could change the email, or can change the user that is sending the email. So it doesn't have to necessarily be the same user sending every single time. So let me add a step here. Let me add an SMS step. And this is not an applicable SMS to this example that I'm using, but that's an SMS step. So now if I saved this workflow as is, when leads have status that changed to student, and they have a custom field that also says their investment is less than $1,000, they will get sent this text message. Should I keep going from here on this one, Lauren? I mean, that's really everything else for sequences is pretty much the same, but that's really the main difference, which is pretty big.
Totally. No, I'm super happy you touched on this, Sam. It's a new feature. You mentioned that recently it changed from sequences to workflows. I think it's important for everyone to understand that Close is a development priority to start adding more automation. And this is the first step in that direction. So being able to automatically use filters, certain groups, and action them, I think is huge. Additionally, lead assignment is now available through that function as well. So you can automatically set it up to assign new leads to your team based on some criteria that's coming in. And I think that is an awesome way to reduce dependency on Zapier. Thanks for kind of taking us there. Not necessarily like a huge manager time saver, definitely good for managers to know that it is there.
Yeah. I mean, that's really, anyone can build those workflows. You don't have to have someone that knows how to use Zapier. Another great thing about the filtering is maybe, you want certain people on your team to talk to certain leads. Maybe you have a very like MVP lead scoring model. And we'll use an example of qualified leads and unqualified leads. Well, maybe a lead comes into your Close account with status potential. Well, now your trigger can be status potential. And then that qualifying question of how much money do you have can be the filter. And then if you only want people with money to talk to this user, then you have an assign user step. And then you have the SMS step. And now that SMS is getting sent out from only the user that you say you should talk to people with money. And you can have another workflow with another filter for the other side of things. That would have taken previously 2 hours and a lot of headache for me to build inside of Zapier. And right now, it would take me probably 10 minutes to build that. So big win. Saving time, saving money. Perfect. Right. I love it. Cool. That's it. I'll get off my soapbox for you guys now and entertain some Q&A.
I have a question while folks are thinking about other questions. So, something that comes up a lot with managers that I talk to whose teams use Close is they feel like they don't have a ton of visibility into what their teams are like up to every day. So I was wondering if you have a few tips about how you like to advise people to track those types of things in Close.
Yeah, during the day, in the moment, that one, just customizing your reporting tab is really where you're going to want to spend your time. So, all right, reporting tab. On your reporting tab, guys, everyone has tiles. Tiles are just different things that you can see in your reporting tab. If you guys want to be able to see what's going on with your team throughout the day, I recommend, depending on what metrics or stats are important to you, that you're moving your tiles or editing your tiles on your reports tab. If I want to see all strategy session completed for all of my users today, I can see 2. So if I wanted to click into these and check out the 2 calls that have happened, I can see 2 leads, 1 signed up. And then if you want to see specific by user, then unfortunately you're going to be going through user, one by one. To see real time what they're up to, this is definitely going to be the tab that you're on. My answer, depending on exactly what they want to see, Lauren, would be maybe different, but real time, definitely this tab, reports tab, is where you want to be. And if you integrate, with a third-party data platform like Looker Studio, or what do people use, Plexo. A lot of people are starting to use Teddy. I don't know if you're getting delivered the ads for that. Yeah, reports tab. There's your answer. Reports tab.
Thanks for touching on that. I think sometimes people get so focused in just making the machine run that they forget about that feedback part until the end. So just remembering that you can go and customize that. There's also the report where you can look at your different team members' performance in one view, which I think is a really helpful report as well. I don't know, Sam, if you advise customers to use that a lot.
Which tab?
Sorry, the activity comparison. So just the next little report down.
Yeah, activity comparison tab is amazing. Let me get that opened up on my end. If you want to not have to go rep by rep and see exactly what everyone's going or what everyone's up to on one page, we can just look at today. You're so smart, Lauren.
I know.
Yeah, so smart. Come into activity comparison tab, and now I can see all of my reps activity. I can customize my columns. These are the same tiles that you would put on the reports view. These are the same columns that you can add to this activity comparison. And you can also filter by date range and specific Smartviews, just as you can on the reports tab as well.
Amazing. Thanks for taking us through. I do see that we have some questions, Sam, if you feel like you've covered everything you want to in reporting. What are some of the challenges you see? Oh, I love this question. When a closed account has a lot of users, like 50 plus. Yeah. I have some thoughts, Sam, after you go.
I think really, I don't know, this is probably not going to be the best answer everyone's heard, but it just comes down to the adoption and onboarding and training of the CRM. That's where everyone fails. Because if you can build the CRM structure the right way, which a lot of people find their ways to. Like this morning, I was on with a Close.com user that has 200 user seats in his close account. But the way that their account is designed is very good, that from a manager level, from an owner level, from a VP level, they can see across and have that visibility into the whole account using the same sort of structure for manager Smartviews that we covered on here. So if you build the account the right way, it doesn't matter how big it gets, the account will function the same. That's the really good thing. I tell people when we build their close accounts, like, hey, when you add 10, 20, 30 new team members to your team, all you have to do is add them to close, invite them as a user, and poof, everything will work the way that it should. So the pitfalls come, the challenges come from a management level of, a leadership level, finding and building the right onboarding material, building the right training material. I have just published last week 5 successful tips for CRM adoption on my YouTube. Seth, I would watch that. Those are my 5 tips for how I get people bought in to adopting the CRM, bringing it back to showing them how it makes them more money. Sales reps care about money. So when you want to get them to do something, tell them you're going to make more money, show them how they're going to make more money, not tell them, show them. But yeah, that's where things break down, is if you don't onboard people the right way. And then on your one-on-ones, like we do weekly one-on-ones with all of our sales reps, and we're looking in their inbox together and we're looking through their Smartviews together to make sure that those buckets are emptied. A lack of continued touch points there, things will start to fall apart. Once things start to fall apart, it's like a snowball rolling downhill. I mean, it turns into a mess. I mean, that many users multiplied, turns into a mess really quick.
Yeah. And I'll echo this. I think when customers typically set up close, they start with a few users. It works great. And then they add a certain amount. And at some point, those systems kind of break down, because the system that's working for 2 users is not going to work as great for like 12, not going to work as great for 50. So I think being in a mindset of continuous improvement is very helpful. Taking time to make sure your data is clean, going in, make sure that rules are set so that people are keeping data clean. Things like what Sam touched on earlier, and this is actually germane to the emoji conversation happening in the chat, making sure that everything is really clearly labeled about what it is, because you'll have lists of templates, making sure you're using naming conventions and things are organized, revisiting your user permissions to make sure that end users are not able to do too much to change your close, which can wreak havoc again on your data. There's just a lot of things where, put a control time in place to like consistently review close with your account manager or any consultants you're working with, and make sure you're folding in the new features as they come. But I will put a link to Sam's video in the chat so you all can see that as well.
Yeah, that'd be a perfect video for you guys to watch to answer that question. It was as a video I did from a blog post that James and I wrote together. We had some fun.
Amazing. The next question is from Theodora. Hey, Sam, you said before you don't have the no-show status for your leads. Can I ask you why?
Great question. I used to, totally used to. And I'm not saying setting up your account this way is wrong. Back up a little bit. The question you guys need to ask yourself, I can send another YouTube video on this question. Question you got to ask yourself is, am I losing money the way my CRM is set up? If my CRM is set up this way, am I making the most amount of money? Am I losing deals? Am I losing opportunity anywhere in the process because of the way my system operates? If the answer to that question is no, do not listen to anything I am telling you on this webinar. None of it applies to you whatsoever. If you think you're actively capturing 100% of the opportunities that you guys need to capture right now, don't change anything about the way your close.com is set up. You won't make any more money. Just keep doing what you're doing right now. Now, if the question is, yeah, I'm making that amount of money now, but I'm about to, double the size of my team, and then I'm not sure that will be the case anymore. Yes, then you start making changes. You start thinking about how to restructure. So Theodora, at a really small, simple account size, I think using lead statuses like no-showed, canceled, rescheduled, follow-up, what else would I put in there? Signed up, bad fit, among probably others, maybe like 12 lead statuses is how I used to build accounts. I think that motion is totally fine, but accounts that then really start to grow and have complexity to them, the lead status turns into more of a 30,000 foot overview. Matter of fact, Close defines lead statuses as lead statuses represent a lead's current relationship to your company. It's just the relationship to your company. It's not like the relationship and all the dates you went on and what you got for dinner at that date. And it's just the relationship, like you dating or not. What are you guys doing? So for me, my close accounts, 5 lead statuses: potential, qualified, bad fit, student, or bad fit is unqualified, potential, qualified, bad fit, signed up, or student, and then DNC. DNC should be a lead status for everyone, I hope. Maybe. What else? So why? Because Theodora, I can still get that information in my status dropdown of my custom activity. I can still automate things based on that. I can't use the native workflow, but I can still automate with Zapier. This custom activity got submitted. This status says this, filter for this, enroll into the sequence, perform this action, do whatever it has to do. So I can still track that information. I can still automate that information. I can still build Smartviews off of that information. I really haven't lost any functionality of the close account. It's just, for me, a no-show is just a little bit too granular than the relationship to the company. It's still, in that case, a potential lead. So my leads that no-show me are still potential. They're still a potential lead, but they're potential that no-showed me. I move their opportunity stage. I do move their opportunity stage to that they missed a call and that they're a call missed or a call not completed. But something as granular as a no-show is 200 foot, not 30,000 foot. The statuses that come into a close account when you sign up are what statuses, Lauren? They're really simple.
Yeah. So they're simple. Top of funnel, bottom funnel. Generally, the rule of thumb is if it's a micro movement that you need to track, it either belongs in a custom activity for an unqualified lead, or if you're in the pipeline and an opportunity, track it there as a step. For example, if someone is stuck, booked a call but didn't complete the call, stuck and booked a call means this never happens. That's just an example. But those tools are better for showing minute movements of actions with leads as opposed to the lead status, which is so much better. Sam said it perfectly. Who that is to you in a general way, who it is to your company.
Yep. All right, Seth, how are you building auto SMS automations when the text needs to come from multiple different users inside of Close? So Seth, I think that question probably came off my example that I just walked through on how I would approach maybe a new lead coming in, money, no money, assigned user. Let me just show how I would do it. How about that? Call out, settings, send as, automated workflows. If you want to use workflows, have everyone in your team turn this on. If you want to be able to like build a workflow where it assigns another user in the step, they have to have this turned on. So settings, send as, automated workflows, big one right there for everyone on here. Make sure you guys toggle that on inside your accounts. So if I wanted to build a new lead, and I want it to be a workflow based on like a money qualifier, we'll do a has money. New lead has money. My trigger, in this case, all my leads come in as potential investment. I want people that say I have financial resources. So that's my filter. This is my trigger. It's built. It's going to say that a new lead comes in, current status is potential. That's what a new lead is for me. And then I'm filtering for a custom field. I have the financial resources. I want this to only send from my closer lead owner. In this case, this is a custom field. So I'll make sure you guys are assigning lead owner at a custom field level. Well, I want this to send from my closer lead owner. And action, I guess, override existing. I mean, this account doesn't have anyone in it, so it's hard, but override existing. And then I would choose a specific user, and I'm the only user in this demo account, but this would be my closer. Cool. So now I'm saying that this workflow is going to be triggered off of a new lead that has money. And then because it's a new lead that has money, I only want them to speak to my closers. In this case, that's the close doctor team. And then I want them to send, a specific text message. I don't have a text message written for this exact example, but we'll pretend this is the text message. If I wanted to send immediately, I can do 1 hour delay. That's the quickest I can do, right, Lauren?
Yep, that's right.
Cool. So boom, this lead is going to opt in, come into my CRM. It's going to say it's a new lead because it has a potential lead status. I'm looking for a custom field that says that they have money. That way I can assign a user of my closers, someone on my closer team. If I had multiple users, that's a user group, right? It could round robin. Does it do that, Lauren?
That's a good question, Sam. Let me do a little digging and get back to you on that.
Oh, all good. In this case, assign the user though, and then send the SMS 1 hour later. I hope, Mr. Seth, that answers your question. Probably clip that one too, Lauren. Great nugget right there. Great nugget. So good.
Our next one is from Laura. Will Smartviews ever have categories that are collapsible, similar to Slack, or make organization easier? I can take this one. So I think this is maybe the most requested feature that I hear most frequently at Close. And we've talked about a lot of good best practice today about how to keep organized. Laura, it's not currently possible, but it is definitely something we've heard from customers, and I will make sure that I add your voice to that group as well. So thanks for the feature request. Can you send an automated message to all leads?
No, Veronica. Short answer, yeah, you could probably figure something out, but no, you would never want to do that. Even if you could do that, it wouldn't matter because you would never want to do that. You'll get, depending on how many all leads is for you, you're going to get your phone number or your email thrown in jail really, really fast. And then you're going to start calling people and they're going to say, Veronica, you called me and it showed up as spam likely. And you're going to be like, what the heck? Close.com, I'm so mad at you. And Close.com is going to be like, whoa, are you mad at us? Something like that could happen. But the answer to your question is really no, you can't do it. There's no way to send automated messages. And then two, you wouldn't really want to do that anyway. You would want to use different service. Like for texting, I use simple texting. For emailing, I use ActiveCampaign, but there's so many different tools for both of those purposes.
It's a great topic. So Sam, you integrate with both of those products with Close, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah. And do you do that? The texting one is through Zapier, correct?
I don't necessarily, I could, I will add like contacts. Yeah. But I don't show like the text from simple texting inside of Close. Some accounts we've like custom coded that because it would be in Zapier. It was just like running up a bill. Yes, sometimes, we'll write custom code that'll integrate one platform in their text messages with Close. That way you can't send texts from the different phone numbers or from the different platforms, but you'll be able to see that activity feed that shows all the conversations that's taking place, and that context helps a lot of people.
Okay.
But yeah, there are creative ways to be able to work the two together, but it'll never be the same phone number. You can't use one platform to really necessarily text from the other. That's marketing. You want to say broadcast? A broadcast is a marketing activity. Close.com, in my opinion, is not a marketing tool.
And just to throw in a few tips here, since we're talking about spam and we're talking about getting your account frozen, a good reminder is that Close works with your email client, be it Gmail or Outlook. Those companies impose limits and they are still your sender. So keep in mind to be very cognizant, look up what their limits are, be aware of that. Think about the amounts of email you're sending cumulatively, which means one-offs, but also any sequences, any little group emails that you're sending out of Smartviews. It all adds up. If you feel like you're sending more than you're comfortable or coming close to hitting your limit, you can hook in a bulk email server to Close. I do think Sam's point about Close isn't really built to be like a marketing qualifying engine for tons and tons and tons of email. But if you are worried about the limit, you can hook into an email server that has higher limits than Gmail or Outlook, for example. Mailgun is a really good example, very affordable with a native integration to Close. Additionally, when it comes to your number and protecting the integrity there, make sure you have a good opt-in, opt-out. If you're texting the US, you actually need to get approved through our carrier Twilio to do that. I'm sure some of you are quite aware. And also you can email support to get your number registered with something called Shake and Stirred, which identifies who your business is, makes you less likely to be marked as spam. So reach out to support@close.com if you ever are interested in doing that as well. Just a couple of tips.
That's a great tip.
I think so too.
Definitely reach out to support for that. That's a good tip. Cool.
All right. Why would someone choose Close over other CRMs? What is Close's strongest selling point, in your opinion, Sam?
Yeah, I'll make a YouTube video on this one too. Seth, great question. Why? Dude, I've never used Salesforce. I've never used Go High Level. I've never used Fresh. I've never used Pipedrive. I have used ActiveCampaign, Infusionsoft, and Close. Oh, and HubSpot. I sat with a team for HubSpot, like our internal team, to talk about developing our HubSpot account. I bet collectively on that business, because they just wanted marketing and fulfillment and all to be a little bit more integrated. I bet collectively on that business, we've put 150 man hours into trying to figure out how to build this HubSpot machine. Now, it might take another 150 man hours to put in until we get there. And then when we get there, I must say, like, HubSpot does do things that just Close can't do. HubSpot's automated workflows is started getting developed years and years and years before Close.com ever started. That just ahead there. But with that being said, like a Salesforce, as you go up the totem pole per se of all these features and gadgets and gizmos and benefits, you add layers of complexity with every single thing. So why do I think a lot of businesses choose to use Close is they don't want all of those layers of complexity. If you look at like HubSpot's UI 5 years ago compared to HubSpot's UI now, it looks quite different in my opinion. If you look at Close's UI 5 years ago to Close's UI right now, I think it looks like pretty much exactly the same. Everything pretty much functions exactly the same. There's still some added layers of gadgets and gizmos, but those things, although cool, do complicate even for some people, right? The addition of automated workflows probably has increased support requests around automated workflows because there was probably none before automated workflows existed. So any new gadget gizmo adds a layer of complexity. I think a lot of business owners just are not ready for complexity when it comes to, I want to change this one thing in my CRM to build this one automation, and a tool like Salesforce, okay, like go to the drawing board for probably 30 days before you figure out how it's going to work. And a tool like Close, it could take 30 minutes and have it built, and if not native, inside of Zapier. I don't know anything about HubSpot or any of these other competitors' support teams, but I know that Close support team is freaking amazing. So I like that. Close has really good people. I don't know anything about the people everywhere else, but Close has really good people. What is Close's strongest selling point? Yeah. Lauren, I don't know. What is Close's USP? When you guys talk about what makes us different internally at Close, what is that USP?
I mean, I think you hit it, Sam. At the end of the day, time to value is minuscule. You don't need to be a rocket scientist or a coder to use it. It is low complexity. It is very easy to get your team in there quickly and go. and then iterate as your team is already working. It is not super difficult to learn. I'm personally biased, but I do think it is a very human-driven company. I don't think there are many other CRMs where you can email the support team and get a human answer within 24 hours, or maybe even like a video that a person has made for you to explain something. I think all of that stuff just makes us a little more incredible.
Yeah, I agree.
But I'm biased.
Yeah. I am biased, let me tell you. But I can't comment on anything else. I've never really used anything else. Why not Infusionsoft? Why not ActiveCampaign? They're not sales CRMs. I'll build people's close accounts and they'll be like, and we're coming to you from ActiveCampaign. And I'm just like, how in the world were you operating your sales team inside of ActiveCampaign? That is crazy to me. Like, what do you mean you were using a Kanban view inside there, like opportunity stages? Like, I get it, but I also don't get it at all. So yeah, I can't comment for anything else. I'm just a fan. Seth, I'm a fan. That's all I am. Number one fan. That's why I'm here.
Thanks, Sam. We appreciate you. Veronica has asked the best way not to get flagged for spam. I think I touched on some of this stuff already about mail servers. I think also just following really good email best practices, kind of staying up on things that you shouldn't put subject lines, for example. Stuff like that is also very helpful to make sure that your emails are getting delivered the way that you intend them to when you hit send. Veronica, we have some more resources for this if you are interested on the Close Help Center as well. So it's kind of a huge topic, but definitely one we're discussing for sure. So let us know if you have any questions or email support if you do, and we'll be happy to clarify. I appreciate your support team responding so quickly. Are there any future plans to add a live chat function for Close to connect with support quickly? Sure, I don't work on that team. So sorry.
The Slack community is all you need. Come hang out with us in Slack.
I will say that if you want technical support very quickly, your first stop should always be support@close.com. Just shoot them an email, you'll get in the queue and you'll get your question answered. The technical team does not monitor the community. It's really meant more for peer-to-peer support. So just follow that as a best practice. I love the suggestion of a chat function. I'm not sure if our team is set up to support it, but I will absolutely mention it to our director of support. So thanks for the suggestion.
And for everyone still on right now, I dropped a link to my calendar page in the chat. I got a brand new, I'm calling it a workshop motion that I'll be running with anyone that wants to hop on with me, where I'm going to deliver you at the end, assuming we can get through it together. You'll be a guinea pig with me, but I'm going to deliver to you at the end exactly how I think you should have your Close.com account set up, along with training videos, onboarding guides, setup material, you name it. I got it. Brand new, hot off the press. You guys are hearing about it here first. So if you want to grab time with me, click that link, schedule a call. I know a lot of you are around the world right now, so sometimes time zone settings don't work. Send me an email, sam@closedoctor.com. Reach out to me in the Slack community. Find me on YouTube @CloseDoctor, soon to be on Instagram @TheCloseDoctor. A lot more stuff coming. Close Doctor's ramping up.
Love it, Sam. Love to see it. We'll follow you on the gram real soon. See us in the community. Hit us up in support. We are here for your questions. We just want to make you as successful as possible using Close. And I want to thank you so deeply for spending your time with us today.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Lauren. Yeah, this is fun. I can't wait to be with you guys next month.
Thank you, Sam. We appreciate you.
You got it. See you guys.
Have a good one, everybody. Take care.